a second. Winter.
So
Okay, so I know now that recording is in progress. Let me drink water and record myself.
you started being typically Aditya. So how's everything going on with you?
It's fine. It's going on.
No, the last time when we were talking, like the other day when we were talking about a lot of things, one thing that you one thing that you told, and I've been itching to ask this question from that day on, like what is the mentality of a bully that you told me that you were talking about? What do you think about it?
The mentality of a bully can be many things, but mainly it's lack of attention, I guess, because that is the most consistent part. Some may be sadist, pure sadists, but mostly it's the attention part. You'll always notice there is something or the other wrong, maybe in the childhood or in the life of a bully.
No, I don't really think so, because you know what? I think genetically we're programmed to do this thing. Like exhibiting power over someone who's weaker than you is something which is genetically coded into our system from evolution point of view. I think, like, because yesterday when like not yesterday, the other day when we were talking about this bullying, and you told that past trauma or lack of social validation or something like that is could be the reason of someone becoming a bully. I cannot disagree more, because the bullies that we used to have when we were in school were completely different from that. I don't really think that they had some sort of lack of social validation or some sort of past trauma or some sort of, I don't know, whatever the reason that you're giving. So
see, the genetic factor is something else. There is always insecurity, first of all, that someone can take up bullying to exert more power. There is the feeling of competition, as you said, that in encoded in our genetics, it's encoded in the nature. Competition, it's everywhere, in at every strata, in every form of life, among the forms of life.
all right.
I remember one case where this is applicable, that the person is in, like he's deep into competition, and at some point he knows that he couldn't compete further, so he tries to pull down his competition. For there was a person, I'll tell you the name later.
All right.
For a generalized example, you can take the example of Chatur from Three Idiots.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I don't really think that he was a bully. Like he used to do some kind of weird shit to get them distracted and something like that. But I don't really think that he was a bully.
See, these things are not in like integral equations.
All right.
There's always ratios and fractions mixed up of different emotions, strategies, thoughts, etc. Like a bully may be bullying someone and is afraid at the same time. You see? And whenever a bully is confronted, and if you confront a bully with full force, or you just make this idea embedded in his mind that someone can question him and someone can challenge him, he won't be the bully anymore.
But you know what? Okay.
I was watching a series, Suits.
Okay. You've already told me enough about it. But what else?
Yeah. So there was a situation when a new lawyer comes in, and she picks up the fight with the baddest bully in the firm. Okay. Baddest bully in the sense, the not exactly bully. He was not a bully, but he was the meanest of all.
Okay.
As a lawyer, professionally speaking.
All right.
So other people, when she started making her moves, then he got frustrated because he didn't want that. So he went to his friend who had hired him, and he said to him, like, why is she doing this? So Then he says that it's a sign of respect because she's taking on the biggest, baddest, and the meanest of all the lawyers, and that is you in the entire firm. Everybody knows that no one should mess with you as a lawyer. So after that, he says, and if she wins, then I won't be the biggest, baddest, and the meanest.
All right.
My position will be gone. So I don't want that gone. So help me pull her down.
Okay. So in this whole scenario, in this whole chunk of the story that you're talking about, who is the bully actually? Obviously, it's not a I don't know. It's not a binary situation where someone is going to be bullied and other one's going to be on the receiving end of the bullying. But even in that situation, how does this fit with the thing that you're talking about?
This fits with the thing in the aspect of competition.
All right.
There is a fight for the top position. That
Okay.
you secure a position that everyone fears.
All right. So was it a similar kind
There,
of case with us when we were in school? I don't really think so.
there was there was this actually.
I can understand for the people who were like really good at studies and they were trying to pick on us,
Yeah.
they were trying to bully us. I can understand for it for them. But what about the
Everyone,
people who were not, who were pieces of shit, who were not even fucking doing something about their studies and trying to like.
let's just go easy on them right now. We were all kids. So
I know,
I'm for them.
I totally understand, but they were trying, they were
Yeah.
complete jerks back then, right? It's not. Listen to me, like it's.
They may be still now. They may be they still may be now jerks in their lives, but the thing we have to understand that I consider this that before 18 or until you pass class 12,
All right. Yeah.
you don't really get to make decisions. You don't have enough equipments, you can say. You don't have enough tools. You don't have enough understanding.
Don't have
to
enough
really
intellect
make
to
good.
understand that what you're doing is whether it is
Yeah,
right or wrong. Yeah.
you don't have the scope actually. You can't see the big picture. You don't have the knowledge yet.
This is something that I said to
Until
one of
and
my bullies. This is something that I said to one of my bullies that once you get out of the school and you don't have any this kind of environment where everyone is like trying to trying to be the best, trying to be the one who exhibits the most power and holds the most command over the
when
classes and
everyone
everything.
is for themselves.
Yeah. Then
When
when
everyone is
everyone
for
is for
themselves.
themselves, then you're gonna face the real life. Then the life is gonna bully you. The similar kind is in the similar way, in much
Yeah,
worse way than you're bullying me right now. This is something that I said,
yeah, but
and if in future he's gonna watch this whole episode, he knows that I'm talking about him. You were telling that what's the mentality of a bully, and you were telling that it's like a competition. Everybody wants to dominate the competition and like decimate the
every
opponent, right? Yeah.
everyone has different motivations. For some people, it's not competition. It's just venting out the frustration. For some people, it's attention. Like you remember a friend who told us that once he got there, he saw there are two types of people: ones who are being bullied and ones who are bullying. And he figured out that he has to bully others so that no one bullies him. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I've already talked about one of our
Yeah.
about that friend in previous episode of mine. Even
So
and
everyone
also by
has
taking his
have.
name, so I'm not holding back at that point.
My point is everyone had different motivations.
Right.
I'll draw a parallel for you. In psychology, we are taught that anger is never an emotion. Anger is not an emotion.
Anger is not an
There's a
emotion.
different underlying emotion which is causing the anger. Yeah, it's not an emotion. When you when you will study about emotions, you won't find anger there. There may be disappointment, there may be betrayal, there may be frustration, irritation, or
Okay, so
whatever.
so
There may be
basically anger is a
jealousy.
byproduct of all these emotions surging up in the brain, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Like if someone hurts you, if someone kicks you or someone punches you, you don't get angry first. You feel hurt first. That's
All
the
right.
underlying emotion fueling the anger.
Oh, yeah. Now I see the
So,
point. Now I get it.
yeah. If, for example, Sasuke,
Yeah.
his
Nice
anger
example.
was, yeah, his anger was arising from the grief he has suffered as a child.
Yeah.
So, anger is never an emotion. And like bullying too, some people like they enjoy it because the feeling of power, etc. It becomes very addictive to them. But the beginning is like nobody becomes a bully by default. Okay, there's always something, some experience or something. There may be some. Obviously, there are all kinds of people. So if there are good people who don't become bullies or bad people, even after so many bad experiences, there may be people who have all the good experiences but still are the way they are. They will be called or considered bad in our society. So, barring a few exceptions, the majority they all have different motivations, whether it's attention from people, where there may be unmet needs as a child from the parents. So they
Okay.
are trying to cover it up. There may be underlying anger and frustration. So they are venting it out on others.
All right. I see your point over there,
Like I
but
told you about a fight. Like I told you about a fight I had. So I was wrong at that point. I know that.
yeah,
But as I was venting out, I was feeling good. I was really feeling very good. That I finally get to vent out.
you were the bully at that point. You were
So
just lashing
yeah,
out and just
at
letting
that
that
point I
anger, letting
became,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I became the bully at that point, and I was feeling like now I'm all grown up. I have my power. I can do these things.
You were feeling like
So
that, but
that's a
objectively that is not true. You already know this, right? Like you have your own power,
yeah. See,
you can regulate your own life by your own means, by your own terms. But I don't really think that it means that you're gonna like get in the comfort zone of the other people and start like disturbing their peace
see,
of mind.
that's the that's the difference between feeling and reality. Like if you consider free will, the topic of free will.
All right.
So I came across this concept in a book called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah.
He's a
Both read
history
that book.
professor basically,
Yeah.
and I guess yeah, in Harvard or Oxford something. I don't really remember,
I don't
but
know.
I remember the concept though. So the concept of free will, he says that the free will arises from the fact that people feel differently about different things. If we say what is right, what you think is right, there will be a common answer.
Yeah.
For example, the earth is round. So people will think it is right because it is right. It's a fact. But if we ask people, how do you feel the earth is? There will be variety of answers according to different perceptions, different thinkings,
And different context
different mindsets.
in which the question is being asked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different contexts, different experiences, etc.
I know. I understand.
So feeling is always different from reality, and that's the thing which uh, gives free will to people. Well, nowadays feelings can be hacked too. That's another stuff. But
No, and
feeling is always different from reality, and this is the biggest point of beauty as well as the chaos. It's the reason for the beauty and the chaos of the world. Like
yeah.
because of free will, we get to see so many things. We get to see art. Art arises from feelings. Art doesn't never arises from facts. You can't paint a fact.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
obviously, you can draw a diagram, but that won't be
It's not
called
about that.
art.
It's not art. That's something else.
Yeah,
That's
it's not art. It's pictorial representation.
yeah. Yeah, but on the top of that, like I
So
want to add one more
that's
thing
that.
on that. I want to add one more thing on that. Like yeah, on the other day, then when we were talking about the political scenario of the country and everything, you told that the people who are supporting the party right now and who most of the vigilantes who are in the support of the party and support of the Hindu national idea of Hindu nationalism have become bullies. Say there are cases in different part of the country where they entered some shop and just destroyed it, entered some set and destroyed it because the things that were going on in that set or studio or one of the places was against their will, against their ideology, right? So that is a kind of group bullying or a political bullying. What do you want to say on that? What are your thoughts on that? Like, why does that happen? It's like obviously you want to get ahead in the competition and decimate the opponent and everything, but uh, just imposing your ideology over the other person, I don't think that's a part of the competition, the objective competition which is going on in the political field.
That comes from a deeper reason. This all ideology and all the other things. See, if you will really try to find the meaning of life,
Yeah,
you will ultimately reach the conclusion that life is meaningless.
that's the idea of
It's
nihilism, but
really
it's not the
meaningless.
only.
No, act, it's actually meaningless. You can see that by observing most of the organisms around you, whether it's a tree, it's a bacteria, it's a dog, or a human being.
Yeah,
How many people do you think have lived through history till now? And how many do you know or heard or remember?
only those
How many are
who did
remembered?
something, only those who did something great in like the field of I don't know, whatever the field they were master in. That's
Yeah,
these those are the only people that we know about. Other than that, we don't know shit about any other
yeah.
person.
I really thought about it, considering the perspectives from even the tiniest life forms as well as us, even the
Yeah,
biggest of them, in context of myths and religions, etc. There have been countless. So when you take it all as a big picture, like you do a time lapse of Earth and everything that's been going around, that book is basically that.
yeah, I
And
do.
even if
I
you
know.
think by your own logic, yeah, if you think by your own logic, nobody
I know.
remembers
I
people
totally
so
agree
much
with you on this
like
because
books
most
or
of the things that the lives that we live and everything, like there are so many religions, there are so many cults, so many ideologies and everything. And at the end of the day, what's gonna happen? This whole chunk, this whole like the whole planet, this whole big ball in the universe, what's gonna happen to this? The people who are living on this, like this big universe, such a big universe, and we are nowhere near to what the structure is, the whole structure which is created in this universe. And the I don't know, like it feels meaningless. If you start looking at it in that perspective, from the perspective of the whole universe, it feels meaningless because you don't you don't hold any ground, you don't make any significant change in the universe after having whatever the like what doing whatever the hell you want to do in your life after, like, even for the people who have these like are remembered so much after whatever they've accomplished from in the past. I don't really think that they're going to be remembered after 500 or 600 years ago. It's just a timeline where people remember the people. Who knows how many famous
there.
people have been there in the past and we don't even know about them. There's a great possibility of
Yeah,
that happening,
like
right?
only a few stand the test of time. Yes. Because
Maybe.
that's what evolution. Like, things evolve, things move on. A better thing comes in. With better things also get worse. It's all in balance. You will see balance in each and everything. And by balance, I mean both sides, like what you called as bad side and the good side, both sides progressing simultaneously. Today
Yeah.
we have such resources, such technologies, but look at the state of affairs. If the same technology would have been with like Ashoka or the Mauryan Empire, what's that? Chandragupta, I guess, the
Chandragupta.
disciple of Chanakya. Yeah,
Chandragupta.
the
Chandragupta
Gupta and the
Maurya.
Mauryan Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the same technology would have been at those times, maybe they would have revolutionized their whole kingdom.
Yeah.
But today
Like,
we have it.
getting back to the
And
idea of political bullying. It's
yeah,
what do you
so
want to accomplish by saying that everything is meaningless? The life of a normal human being is meaningless, and how do you relate that to like the political bullying that is happening in the country?
so at the larger spectrum, life is meaningless.
All
Okay,
right.
let's agree on that
Yep.
for the time being.
Okay.
Now, but the human instinct is to question things, to find meaning and purpose in life. We all search for it. Who are we? This question, the question of our own identity, the question that comes with adolescence. It was in the classic biology book, the chapter that tells us about what are the changes we go through as a teenager, as
Yeah.
adolescence reaches us. So the question of identity. Now, most of the people that I see in videos and I see like talking about these things, I see that they are like desperate to find something that they can say that this is my purpose. This is a thing that I am involved with, which has a higher value, which has a greater meaning, that is bigger than myself or anyone else.
Yeah.
And there comes in religion. Like it's God, it's the maker of the universe. It's bigger than all of us.
Yeah. All right.
And as people, what can we do? We can have faith in it, and we can make people have faith in it. Like earlier when different religions were originating, for example, Buddhism, Jainism, there were like spreaders of these religions. People used to go to other places and spread this religion, tell them about the teachings. Like you may know the son and daughter of Ashoka, King Ashoka. They went to, I guess, South Asia, some countries, etc. Like Buddhism spread through like whole Asia, China, Japan,
Yeah.
most of the South Asian countries. I don't remember the names, but they all have this religion. They spread the religion.
Okay.
So as basic basic human instincts, people are trying to find a purpose for their life. It's really depressing when you think that all the hustle we go through in our lives,
Yeah.
first in learning, in building up a life, then sustaining a life, and then giving it back to others, helping others to grow up and sustain the life. If we consider three phases: young age,
Yeah.
adulthood, and
Yeah. These are
old
the three
age.
phases. These are the things that you do in these three phases. I
Yeah, but say if you are told and you realize that all of this is meaningless, you have made a life for yourself. You think you have achieved so much, and within no time, that phase fades away.
Yeah.
Now you are old and you are counting your days. You think that I'll
That's the
share my
idea.
experiences with the younger ones.
That's the idea.
Yeah,
That's the
you will
conclusion
share
of
the
the ideology
experience.
of Buddhism. The philosophy
Yeah,
of Buddhism,
then you will
exactly.
share those experiences with the younger generation, and then you will think one day that they are going to suffer the same fate, and then again, the next generation, the cycle will go on. It has no end, according to your imagination, till where you think it will go. where will it stop? What's the highest point of betterment of progress? What can be the maximum of progress?
There can be. There's
Can't
always
imagine,
scope to
no?
grow. Yeah, right. There's always scope to grow. There's always
Yeah,
things, technical
that
advancements, philosophical advancements. There's always going to be like some room for growth. Even if
advancement.
you, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
even if you get to the highest point
So
that you can imagine. After that, when you get to that level, then you get this idea. Then you get this ability to think beyond that, right? So basically, it's an infinite loop.
yeah.
You cannot stop it.
So if I picturize it, it's like this. You are at this point. You see that at this point it's better. The problems you are facing at this point are gone here. You reach this point,
I
and
think
at
your
this
video is
point
not
there are
mirrored.
more problems.
I think your
You
video is
see.
not mirrored. That's why it seems like the graph is going from uh, right to the left side, not from the
So
left to the right.
I was gonna make a circle.
Okay, okay, okay,
I
okay.
was gonna make a circle and just imagine a circle, and it's all also overlapped with waves, with a single
Oh,
wave.
okay. What does that even
So
mean?
that's how life is. For example, uh, I'll explain. Uh, for example, when we were in class 10th, we used to feel like once we'll class 11th, everything will be fine. We'll be
Yeah,
seniors
yeah.
and
The
we'll
senior
have
son will rule.
all the awesome, yeah, we'll rule. So we used to have this ideology.
Yeah,
We were fed up from our seniors. Like we won't have we used to think that we won't have to listen to them anymore. We won't have to do their bidding, etc. Whatever, whoever used to do whatever.
yeah. I
So
know.
there was that. When we reached class 11, new set of problems came in. Now suddenly we were the seniors, and the juniors were looking us at the same way as we used to look to our seniors.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
Then
That's
the
what Mayank
the
Bhaiya,
freedom and the
that's
responsibility.
what that's what Mayank Bhaiya was talking about the other day, right? When you're gonna become senior, you will be treating the juniors in the same manner, and your juniors will say in the similar manner that you feel about us.
Yeah, because I realized this very fact that you can't, because as juniors, what we were wishing for, it's wishful thinking. We
Yeah,
were wishing for those things that our seniors should understand it and respect it. As time went through, we grew up, we progressed a little, we grew up in certain aspects. When we grew up, and then again a junior was coming and telling us the same perspectives which we used to think, and now we have let them go.
yeah,
Those are old concepts for us,
yeah, yeah. I
and
know.
but for the junior it's new,
It's
and
new.
he's
He
very
thinks,
excited for it.
yeah,
Yeah, he has just
he thinks this
realized
is
it
right.
and he's very excited about it. And when you don't listen to him, he will feel frustrated. Like, I have such a great idea and nobody listens to me.
Yeah, that's the idea of perspectivism. You
And
grow up.
after a while, yeah, and after a while, then there is personal growth and perspectives. All of that is, but when you have to perform things, then you have to do things in real time. When we have to take a decision, we can't go on considering every other perspective. And all. We have to make
Yeah,
a decision, and that decision have to come from a single
single
one
perspective.
certain perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why we have leaders. That's why we have leaders.
yeah,
What does the leader do? He has that person has a vision. That person shares his vision with other people who like uh, think about it and then choose to follow him.
all right.
They see the resemblance with their
But you
own
know what?
vision. They adjust their own vision according to him,
But there's a thin
and
line
then they
beyond
follow
that.
the person.
There's a thin line where you don't have to cross like taking decisions from your own perspectives, because if you don't listen to other people's perspective and you don't like, I don't know, add certain things from others' perspective, which seems to be good, better than your perspective, better than things that you have in your perspective, and adding and creating certain things, creating a third kind of perspective, which is uh, like, it's not similar to what you thought in the beginning, and it's not similar to what he thought in the beginning, but something which is going to be better for the society, or for the team as a whole, right? That's where being a leader and an authoritarian comes in.
Yeah, you have a very genuine point, but that's another topic itself. I'm just talking here about leaders.
All right.
Even you consider whoever you consider as a good leader, that leader too can't satisfy everyone at every point.
I know, I understand.
For example, you are leading your own life. Within your own life, if everything is left on you only,
Yeah,
you are free to do whatever you want. Will you be satisfied at every point? There will
definitely.
always be things that you will think, like, it's divide a scale in 4 parts.
All right.
You have 50 right, 50 left, and you can take 50 in the middle. You will always be shuffling. You can't have everything. Either you will go to the right area and you will make yourself feel like the left was bad. So
Yeah,
the right is good, I'll be in the right. And then when the right starts creating problem, you go to the left. That the left was better, I guess. The left will work. After some time, you will realize the faults of the left, and you will. And if you are wise enough, then you will say, "I'll take the route of the center." Then you will lose 25 from the right and 25 from the left.
all right.
There, there will always be something that you will lose.
So that happens to the similar,
For
like, that
example,
happens, that same thing happens with a team which has a certain, has a leader, and he's trying to take decisions for the team, and he wouldn't be able to
yeah,
satisfy everyone, right? I understand. But
yeah,
getting
completely
back to the main
satisfy.
topic that we were talking about, political bullying, how does that satisfy this whole
So
idea?
uh, again, I will repeat my point that it's about finding a bigger purpose. Most of the people who are involved in such things, you and I both know them personally also,
Yeah, yeah,
don't we?
yeah,
Some of them are our own family members among them.
yeah. I know.
At least
I'm also the part
at the
of my
bare
family group.
minimum, we will have
I'm also the part of my family group.
at
I know,
least
I see
on
posts
the
that are being
on
shared.
the like on the bare minimum, at least you will have some uncle or some fufa chacha
Yeah,
that who will at least put supporting views about these things, even if he or she is not directly involved. Okay?
no,
And
this is something which
because
is,
of that, and see,
yeah,
there are different motivations. First of all, uh, there are two things. Firstly, there is finding purpose, that I am fighting for something greater than myself.
all right.
The same thing goes for the concept of nationalism too. The same thing goes for the that communism too.
Yeah,
How communist people think, like the basic communism, the basics, not the practical versions which we saw in Russia. That was the basic idea. There's always a basic idea. The idea which is very simple and resonates with most of the people. So the simple idea behind communism also, or any religion, is that we follow one thing. We have a single purpose to fulfill. In case of communism, it was a country, and everybody, there will be a like wonderland where everybody will be equal in terms. Everybody will contribute according to their capacity, and everybody will receive according to their needs. There will be no rich and poor.
yeah.
So
Basically creating a horizontal
when you
pattern,
create,
like everybody is equal and everybody
yeah,
lives on an equal line, right? Everybody has
Yeah.
an equal
So,
set of lifestyle, and can avail all the things that is there, right? So basically creating a paradise.
yeah,
I get the point.
yeah, it's a paradise where nobody would be like jealous or anything. Like a person who is less capable won't see a more capable person and think like, if I would have that capacity, I would also be rich or something.
Well,
So that
that
was a
is
paradise like thinking.
yeah, obviously. After that, what
See,
happens?
there is a very important fact about communism that Karl Marx, the book he wrote, he just wrote the book.
Das Kapital.
He was not a leader. He didn't. Yeah, I guess. Uh, I guess it was Karl Marx. So he wrote the book. He didn't go into the masses to preach the book. People discovered his book or something. I guess something like that happened, and
Yeah.
other people spread that message according to their interpretations. The book he wrote was not like it was not practical enough. He was not talking about practicality in that book, as far as I know. As far as I have heard, I have read about it. And I have not read the book, so I'm gonna mention that. But this was the basic idea: equality. But in real world, it will not happen because
Yeah,
obviously the more capable person will think that I am doing more, but I am receiving the same. So
I know. I know. I totally
this
understand.
idea was from the
This
perspective
is not
of the
practically feasible.
yeah. This was not practically feasible because it was not thinking on both the sides. Practicality is always like in somewhere in the middle. The reality is always somewhere in the middle.
All right.
Understood? So now the people who do these things, they follow the idea that I am attached with something bigger than myself and I am doing a very, very important work. Whether they understand that work or not. If you ask them like there are questions which are sequential, question after question, and then there are layered questions. You question the first layer, you answer it, that opens the second layer. You question the second layer, you reach the third layer. They are layered questions,
All right.
like
Basically,
five
complex set of
questions.
questions that are being asked in
Yeah,
a logical
if you
sequence.
yeah, if you ask those questions to those people, they won't be able to answer it because they have not really thought about it. But the basic idea which is driving them is
Sense
attaching
of
themselves
identity.
with something
The sense of
bigger
identity
than
and attachment to
yeah,
something
sense
which
of
is bigger than their
identity and
own.
purpose.
Yeah.
Sense of identity and purpose. Like we also are trying to do the same thing in our own way. Like you are trying to create a podcast channel.
Yeah. It's
So
it's becoming a
why are
nuisance, by
you
the way.
doing that? That yeah,
Not able to handle the pressure.
things will be up and down. Think about Advani. You will feel motivation.
Oh man.
So, so these things are the basic reason why this is happening. The second is not seeing any real change in their life. Who are these people who gather around such so quickly and they start shouting slogans and they disappear within seconds? Who are these people?
They don't have any
Do
significant
they have
thing to
actual
do, right?
jobs, regular?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like they don't have any
Yeah,
significant thing
they
to give
don't
them
have
purpose.
any regular. Either they don't have regular salaried jobs,
Yeah.
which will require them to be on time.
To
Whoever
be
is
on
working a
time
9 to 5 job or 9 to 2 job,
yeah.
those yeah, those people will never get the time to go in these things,
They have their own shit to worry about.
especially
They
in
cannot
creating
go within the
nuisance.
party. Yeah.
Yeah, when you have your own shit to worry about, you can't worry about creating shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree on you there.
When you feel the pressure, you don't think about food. You are in search of a toilet first. So,
Okay, I do understand what
this
you're
is
talking
a
about. Right?
this is a very, yeah. So that's the most basic thing. Most of these people are, they may be either jobless, or they don't have any substantial job, or they don't have a job that is challenging them enough. That's also a point. Energy. We all have energies within us. The young ones have more. The kids have even greater, like, reservoirs of energy.
Obviously.
They shout and play around all day.
Yes.
The old ones have
A
far
little
and
bit
few.
less, yeah. So.
Yeah. So there's also like need of utilizing that energy. If you won't utilize that energy, you won't feel that the energy is uh, getting used up in your body. You will feel frustration. Like, you try sitting idly by yourself for a day. At the end of the day, you will be like out of your mind,
Yeah.
angry and frustrated.
Yeah, actually, yesterday I was watching
Why I'm not getting to do anything.
Yesterday, actually, I was watching a video, a clip of Joe Rogan's podcast, and in that podcast, he was talking about the similar thing, like somebody who's living in his home and sitting on the couch watching Netflix and eating popcorns and shit like that, and he's not doing something significant in his life. Or, for example, just imagine the idealistic situation that people want in their life, like living in a mansion, living in a big like, I don't know, big house, big mansion, and your foot's pedicure is being done, and grapes are being fed to you. You're sitting ideally without doing anything, and you have everything that you've got. That's a situation that nobody wants, actually. They think that they want it, but once you get them into this thing, after a certain while, they will think that just get those grapes out of in front of me. Like, I'm going to do something with my life. I cannot sit ideally without doing anything. That's something that you want. That's something which is embedded into your genetic code. If we have the survival instincts, we are the species that fought extinction at a certain time, and right now we're ruling this world. We got over this cognitive evolution that we studied in that book, obviously, and we're the ones who fought the most. Obviously, we are exploiting the resources right now, but still. But we're the ones who were most competent out of all the species that ever existed on this planet.
Again, my point returns. I told about the scroller. When you get to the 50 right, you feel that the left was better. Then you get to the 50 left, and after a while you realize that you need to be in the middle. You have to leave somewhat of the right and 25% of the right, 25% of the left. You can't be too comfortable. You can't be too hard work.
Yeah.
Too comfortable, it will make you
lethargic.
Like the reservoir of energy. No, the reservoir of energy which you will have will be unstable. You remember Shwetab's statement that a 14-year-old kid is the most unstable organism on this planet because he has lots of energy and he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I know. A 14-year-old kid. We've all been there. We've all experienced that.
Yeah. And if we will do all the work and work all the time, we will feel exhausted and that energy source will be depleted.
Yeah.
The same thing can be seen in like the natural resources like petroleum and gas. It's the same concept that it will run out because we are in excessive use.
Yeah, as I told, we are exploiting the resources right now, but
yeah,
whatever.
Like, there's always a saying, we are told the saying that the excess of everything is bad.
But you know what? I don't really understand, like, this petroleum and everything, like specifically talking about the petroleum. Like, if we wouldn't have had created certain vehicles who works on this, who runs on petroleum, products of the petroleum, then what would have happened with all this petroleum? what does ecosystem does with all this? Like, what does the ecosystem do with all these resources? Where it goes as like a fossil for,
Just,
yeah.
it just lies around at the bottom. That's all.
I don't really think so, because the Earth doesn't create. The Earth didn't create this thing so that we can use it to put in our vehicle and run it on the road. I don't really think so. This is not how the system is created. There must be some use of petroleum which we do not exactly
Yeah,
know in the ecosystem, because everything that we've created is
maybe like
unnatural.
we
For example,
haven't.
like as I was planning to call Ujala on this podcast, but as I told you that I was having this conversation with Priyanshu, and he told that you need to focus a lot on the content that you're pushing right now, and you also need to focus on the communication skills. You have to make it better. You have to create a better setup. Like, you have to create a better environment where you can record podcasts much efficiently, right? And because you're inviting someone who has already been a host of a podcast and is a young entrepreneur who's handling a fucking business model there in Delhi of waste management. And she's really into all these things like environment and ecosystem and everything, stuff like that, right? And um, I don't know, like, I was gonna ask this question to her. Like, everything that we've created, we humans have created, is artificial. The houses that we have, the network system, the internet, the vehicles, the transportation system, whatever it is there, communication system, everything is artificial. And this Earth, I don't really think like it has a lot of endurance capacity, and that's why it's able to take all these things in, right? But the society that we've created and the things that we've created along with the society, I don't really think the Earth is compatible with these things. That's why it's dying slowly due to the things that we've created in this on this Earth. Maybe over the
I
course
don't
of
think
time,
so. That
maybe
because
over the course
see,
of time, like I'm adding something to it. Maybe over the course of time, Earth has gotten compatible to it, because evolution is not specifically exclusive for us. It's for all the other kind of life form, right? So I think, but what about the
see
disasters that we are seeing on a daily basis? What about the ozone hole depletion? What about that? We see a lot of things like that
again,
on a daily basis.
again, again, I will come back to the point that excess of everything is bad.
Yeah.
We humans, whether it's our population and the resources that we use as that population grows and tries to sustain itself. So that is the part where it's going in excess, and that's the part where all the like the nature is collapsing, or you can say even reacting back, acting back at
Yeah.
us. If you have studied the report which came a few days ago
What
about
report?
this environment and all,
No, I haven't.
remember the name. Okay, so
Tell me the
this
name. Tell me the
report
name.
says that
I'm gonna share the screen. Tell me the name.
I guess it's the IPCC report.
Tell me again.
IPCC report.
Y
I I
I
IPCC report.
IPCC report.
IPCC. Yeah.
Report.
I for ice cream. P for
Okay. I know. I understand, man.
oh,
IPCC report
yeah.
2021 on climate change.
2021.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one is that? BBC.com, IPCC new report, 5 things you need to know.
Yeah.
Which one should I click on? This one?
Yeah. Just open that one.
All right.
Yeah. So they have said that by the end of the century, Chennai, Mumbai, and all the South Indian regions, most of them will be underwater.
Okay,
3 feet,
I
6
saw a
feet.
thumbnail. I saw a thumbnail of Akash Banerjee, and I think he was going to talk about that. I didn't click on that. I didn't see it, but
Yeah.
I think he was going to talk about that. The 1.5 temperature event and the life report. What is this? Extreme heat becomes more frequent. Projected increase in frequency and high intensity of high
There
temperature
will
peaks only
be
occurred
heat waves.
once in every 10 years on average in climate without human influence.
Like there will
Professor
be heat
Peterson is
waves
a
more
former
frequently.
PCC was an
There
observer of
will
the
be floods.
yeah. No, there was this documentary that I was watching the other day on Discovery in which they were talking about what sort of impact the climate change is going to have on us, on specifically on India, and it was disastrous. Like after 50 years, it's going to be a fucking catastrophe on in this country. We got to do something about it as soon as
In the
fucking possible.
following years, which will be approaching soon, heat waves, heat stroke, that blue thing,
Hey man, what the fuck is
severe
this?
heat waves, which
The bad news: no matter what we do, the sea will continue to rise. In the past, the IPCC has been criticized for being way too conservative when it came to assessing the risk of sea level rise. A lack of clear research saw previous report exclude the potential impacts on the melting of the Greenland and Arctic ice sheet. Not this time. The report shows that under current scenarios, the seas could rise above the likely range, going up to 2 meter by the end of the century and up to 5 meter by the end of by 2150. Where while these are unlikely figures, they can be ruled out under a very high greenhouse gas emission scenario. That's bad enough. But even if we get a handle on emission and keep temperatures around 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2100, the water will continue to rise long into the future. And pause.
if
Future
this
resilience and possibilities.
1.5 degrees Celsius temperature will rise, two-thirds of the glaciers will melt out very soon.
Oh my God.
Third. So
So it's no
we
future
are
for the
in
people
for
who are living in India for the next, like after 1 century. The good news. Wait a minute. Let me read this. Maybe it'll get me out of the trauma that I just had. Scientists are more certain about what will work. Okay. The uh, warnings are clearer and more dire, but there's an important thread of hope running through this report. Scientists have long been worried that climate could be more sensitive to carbon dioxide than they thought. They use a phrase equilibrium climate sensitivity to capture the range of warming that could occur if CO2 levels were doubled. In the last report in 2013, this ranged from 1.5 degrees Celsius to 4.5 degrees Celsius with no best estimate. This time around, the range has narrowed and the authors opt for 3 degrees Celsius as their most likely figure. Why is that important? We are now able to constrain that with a good degree of certainty. And then, what happened to you, bro? Adit,
nothing.
we are now able to constrain that with a good degree of certainty. Then we employ that to really make far more accurate predictions, said Professor Piers Foster of the University of Leeds and an author of the report. So that way we know that net zero will really deliver. Increasing extreme rainfall. Man, this is crazy. So this is like, what is this? This is temperature map of what is going to happen if this is the amount of temperature that rises. 1 degree Celsius global warming change at 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming. At 2 degrees Celsius and at 4 degrees Celsius. It's going to get warmer and warmer. You know what it feels like these days whenever you go out in the sun and everything, it feels like it's hotter than it used to be a few years ago.
Not exactly. You can say the weather is
Getting on
less
extremes.
hot than it is. Our climate is changing. We don't get those news anymore. If you remember, like
Yeah.
earlier in summers, in
Yeah,
especially in April
this
and
summer we
last of
actually
April
never.
and May.
Yeah, this summer we actually never got to get a hand of Lou.
Yeah, even in the last summer. But
I don't remember the last summer, but this
there
summer
were
I
there
was
was
really
see
paying attention to everything which was happening,
how
and we never really get to see summer in its intense form, because as soon as summer started, all
yeah
of a sudden
and but
rainfall started happening. First it was convectional rainfall, after a
yeah
while monsoon came, so it was like there was no summer at all. It's fucking weird, man. Like summer is the most dangerous seasons of all.
I'll I'll tell you a few things.
Yeah.
Firstly, I went to my grandparents' house a few days back. The road which we went through, the road which we used,
Yeah.
it's almost 1 feet underwater now.
1 feet in a
Ganga is
water.
flooded. Yeah, the road we used to go and come back, it's 1 feet underwater. Water is flowing over it.
What the hell is that happening?
Flood. The area is flooded.
So basically the water level is rising up.
Don't you know about floods?
No, I know about floods, but that's
Yeah,
inexplicable. Why does that happen? Why would that happen?
that's how floods work.
No,
Because there's so much rain
why is that?
this
Oh,
year.
okay.
There is
All right,
so
all
much
right.
rain this year that it's flooding like crazy. Many of the like there's been a flood in most of the areas here. And
Sorry.
scientists say
I
that
was
floods, cyclones, scientists say that floods, cyclones, heat waves, landslides in Himalayas, these things will continue to grow in frequency in the next 20 years, if even if we do our part in controlling the climate change.
This is fucked up, man.
So this year
So
we got earlier we used to get cyclones like in 3 to 4 years one cyclone like that. This year we had two, even one in Arabian Sea, which is considered as a like it's a really quiet sea in that manner. Bay of Bengal is like it creates a funnel-like shape. That's why Bay of Bengal receives more cyclones in that way. That's why Orissa suffers too much damage every year almost. But the Arabian Sea, these type of phenomena like the cyclones and these things were very like far and few. But this year we got to see like back-to-back cyclones in Arabian Sea as well as in Bay of Bengal. There's flooding in Bihar, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh. Like it's all flooded.
so
I don't even
it's
remember
basically a
about
complete chaos out there.
Odisha and the yeah.
So what are we gonna do about
We have
that? Like
excessive
if
flooding.
I was gonna talk to Ujala about this on my podcast. Like I thought so, but I don't really see the point at this point. Like why would someone give solutions when we don't have any scope of escaping the catastrophe that is gonna come on us?
See, the solution is not short term. We have to think long term. We can't only
We
think
cannot
about
we
our
cannot
comfort. We
reverse the
have
damage that we've done, and we cannot control the things that is gonna happen. So how do you fucking get?
we can't reverse, but we can minimize it as much as possible, and we can give nature the time to restore itself if we take important
You know what?
steps right now.
It was the report that when the lockdown first happened, when the coronavirus uh, like it was hitting people,
In
and
2020,
yeah, in 2020, and the lockdown first happened for the first 7 days or 7 or 8 days. The climate of the country was already started to heal, and there was this video of the richest. I don't know whether you have subscribed to it or
I
not.
was I was in Delhi. I was in Delhi, and I had never seen stars in Delhi sky before that. There were
That is the level of
stars.
that is the level of
Such
pollution.
Yeah, you can barely see the pole star and a few more.
My God,
You can't see stars here. Really.
that is fucked up, man. Like,
When
what are
Diwali
we doing?
approaches, after Diwali, there is so much like smog everywhere. Everywhere.
Well,
It's hard
obviously,
to
we're the
breathe.
one to talk about.
Literally,
Like,
it's hard to
we're
breathe.
recording this podcast, and in some way or the other, this equipment is also contributing to the climate change right now.
Yeah, like we are not gods. We are part. We have to
But you know what? There's something
like
that I was
take
thinking about. There's something that I was thinking about like a few months ago. That what would happen if we create a certain business model which is generating profit at the same time contributing to stop the climate change? What if we do that? There are a lot of people who are gonna come to this field of like I don't know stopping the climate change from happening and generating money out of it because money is the biggest motivation right now in this world and everything that we're doing right now the climate change the sheer reason for climate change the motivation for climate change the end result of the motivation is money. So what would we do if we can generate money out of something which is saving the planet? That could be the better solution
see
for to think about.
that is a possible solution. That is happening on some level, but again, you
We're
will
not
find
able to create big firms out of
Mr.
it.
Yuval Noah Harari. It's not about the business opportunity. It's about humankind's survival, man. A business opportunity, a firm making money out of it. It's really like it's on a much smaller level than the things which we are talking about. The thing which we are talking about is grand and it's really it's not life threatening. It's the existence threatening, and not only ours, also for many species. Like if you will like take up the red list or something, whatever it's called, you will see how many species have disappeared due to the climate change till now. They are temperature sensitive organisms, animals. They are dying.
My God.
So,
As if the
the
existence of
first point is
humans,
that. The
as if the
second
exist,
point is
as if the
this.
existence of humans wasn't enough for killing them.
The second thing is you can't do it alone. A few firms can't do it because,
Obviously, you can't do it alone. Nobody can do
for
it alone. But
example,
that's how I was talking. That's what I
if
was talking about. You
if
have to create a fucking business model which is like I don't know. It's big in scale. It can earn a lot of money and it can create a fucking trend in the market where everybody starts getting into
not
these things.
possible.
For example, creating a product
It's a
and selling it in the
it's
market.
it's a universal truth that construction takes time, destruction takes seconds.
Yeah,
You know that,
yeah.
don't
Everybody
you?
knows that. Yeah.
The same logic applies here. Obviously, using plastic, manufacturing plastic is so easy than creating paper bags, etc. There has been a very good move by our government right now. I read it yesterday that from June or July, I think, no, from October or from next year maybe, all the one-time use plastic items will be banned.
Well, it has been banned multiple times in the past, but nothing
Like
works.
plastic cups, plastic cups, plastic glasses, plastic plates, thermocol plates, these things. They were not banned.
Okay.
They were still in
Polythene
use.
was banned. The polythene bag was banned,
Yeah,
but you can
polythene
still
was
find it.
banned.
But you can still find it in shops, right? And you're gonna need it. The problem is that nobody has that kind of. If you're gonna charge me a little extra for giving me a cloth bag or giving me a paper bag, just fucking do it, man. Take take an extra rupee from me. It's not a big deal.
Actually, it's about habit. You see, before plastic was invented and so popular among the masses, people used to carry like cholas,
Yeah,
whatever it's
jute bags
called,
and everything, right?
like jute bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to take it into the market. They used to carry it everywhere. Whether it were
No, we
games of
still do it.
innocence.
Like my grandfather taught me this. Whenever I go to the market, whenever I go to shop for vegetables and stuff, then I take the bag with me. It's like a habit that has been built in me. But still, when you go on a stationary,
Yeah,
when you go on a stationary store, or for example, when you go to a grocery store and you buy something which is not that, like, you're not getting out for marketing, and you just fucking buy something, or out of that grocery store, you're gonna look for something to carry, right? And the shopkeeper has that polythene bag and he's going to
yeah,
give it to you, you're going to take it. You don't think that much about all these things, but it impacts the environment a lot. And that's where I think that paper bag should come into play.
that's
Cloth bag should come into play. That's where change starts, right?
in in Delhi and Noida. You can't find plastic bags easily. It's very tough.
I know in
Wherever
Delhi.
you go,
That's only because that is
there's
a major
always
city.
paper bags.
That's only because that's a big city. That's a major city, and people are they're always under constant surveillance. And over the top of that, like, that's the area which is most polluted out there in India. So maybe that could be the reason that you're not able to find it. But just come over here. Or recently when you were in Padrona, what then? Have you not been able to find plastic bags?
Yeah, there are always plastic bags, and let me tell you that change is slow. That's the problem. The biggest problem in this environmental challenge which we are facing, the biggest point of problem or conflict you can say is the rate of betterment is always slower than the rate of destruction or the rate of damage.
Well, obviously it is there.
So yeah, so at the rate which the earth can heal itself, it's much slower than the rate at which we are polluting. So
But
there lies the real problem. And the only solution to this is aggressive education drives. Like, people really need to know what's going on. They have to start thinking big.
there are certain things that we're not educated
They
on, but we
should,
really need to be.
yeah.
For
Like,
example,
we
for
can't
like,
rely on physics, chemistry, biology forever.
yeah, forever. Like, not just that, like, social education is a big thing which is lacking in the society. On the first episode of the podcast, I was talking to Priyanshu about this, and we were talking about the women's safety issue, and it was about social education. It's much about social education rather than the conventional education that we're getting in the schools. On the second episode of the podcast, we were talking about mental health awareness. It's your field, obviously, but I was mentioning you, and I was talking about how you're planning to get into this field and just create awareness regarding this thing. But okay, just tell me, what is your blueprint regarding this, regarding this mental health awareness thing? Because you're gonna need to like, for example, you wanted to get into psychology, and a lot of people started questioning that whether it is going to be a field or not, like it's a real field, whether it can generate money, whether it is the demand is there in the market or not. And it's not only with you. You were talking about the friend of yours in psychology, in your class. She is facing the similar kind of
There
problem.
are countless friends. There are countless friends. Whenever we have discussions, there are many people who turn up and tell this that yes, I belong to a PCB or PCM or PCMB background. Like, we have a classmate. He was doing engineering. He did it for 1 year, left it, and then came into psychology.
That's a great thing. Maybe I should have done that.
There was
I'm
there
really
there
regretting
was a
being in
girl in our
engineering right now.
internship. Listen. There
Yes.
was a girl in an internship which I was doing. She left Ames.
My
She was
God.
in Ames, Delhi, maybe, or one of the Ames,
Holy shit.
and she was not comfortable with blood and all of those things.
Okay.
And then she came into psychology.
Hemophobia.
But the fact is, yeah, but the fact is that she left it to come into
It's
psychology,
great. Like,
and
a
she
lot of
really
people are
likes
coming to
psychology.
psychology. A lot of people are opting psychology as a field, and creating a career into that thing. But the awareness regarding this thing is so minimal, so puny, that people are not ready to understand this. People, you know
Actually,
what exactly?
there's a class divide.
There's a thing that I was talking about to my dad yesterday. Not yesterday, today morning. I was talking to him and I told him that when he was asking me that what there are some people in your colleges who are, there are some people in your college who have taken apartments in Gorakhpur and are preparing for GATE over there, are taking coaching classes and everything. So what about like so they're preparing for GATE at such a young age. Like there are multiple opportunities to give GATE, but still they're preparing from such an early age, so, such an early stage. What about you? Are you not planning to get the exam, the GATE examination? Then I told him I'm not planning to do that. And he asked me, what are your plans for future? So I obviously refrained myself from telling him that what is the main plan and everything, this podcast and everything, because he's not going to understand it. And a lot of people don't understand what podcasting is basically. So I told him that it's something that you're not going to understand, and not just you. A lot of people, like let's say 90% of the people wouldn't understand if I tell them what I'm planning right now. So he told me, "Are you doing a similar kind of thing that as Aditya is doing?" And I was like, what Aditya is doing is pretty mainstream, man. You don't have to treat it like something which is not even existing in the society. That's the level of mental health awareness. What are you going to do about that? The problem is with the generation which is above us, not just with us. They have certain stigma related to it. They have certain stigma for the people who are opting this job. They have certain stigma for the people who are opting for the one who are going for the mental therapy and stuff, right?
See, you have to realize this, that the era from which they are belonging, survival was a was the main factor that they used to consider.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally understand that.
If you, if or not you are getting food on your plate, so they are coming from that era.
Yeah.
All these things which we are seeing right now, the internet, the awareness, like the flood of information which we are receiving every day
Yeah.
through these small devices.
We have the impact of
These
globalization on
things,
us. It was not available at that time when
yeah,
they
we
were
have the
at our age.
impact of globalization as well as impact of technology.
Yeah.
The same thing which I can access, this can be accessed from a 3,000 or 4,000, 6,000 rupee phone, which nowadays like everyone has. And it's available in different languages. Like literally a labor can study and read up about environment, the law, the news, everything, if he wants to.
Yeah. Only if he's literate, by the
So
way, because the literacy rate is still low, not
that
up to the mark right now in the country.
the thing which for countering this stigma, what we really need to counter is the like this mentality and feeling that what we have achieved is the greatest, and whatever greatness can be achieved only in the areas which we know of.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the mentality of like the older generation which we need to create. And actually it's not all about mentality also, it's all about becoming tired of life. As we grow, our ability to process new information reduces,
Yeah.
our personalities become solidified. So in their age, something new, it's just too much work for them to understand it from the scratch. And psychology and mental health, well, they are complex things if you really look into it on a
Yeah, I
glance.
know. I totally understand,
When
bro.
you take
The other day when we were
when
talking
you
about how certain attributes are developed in a person in a particular phase of age, I was really confused, man. Like I never thought about it. That could be possible.
yeah,
And even after that, like even after
this is
giving all the thesis which is there, it's much more nuanced than that. It's not just the things that it's not just the bits and pieces of information that you're giving me. It's much more than that. It gives the practical impact on the person and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it's not
like
something.
I
No,
would tell
it's
you
the
the
thing is not.
basic
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Continue.
the,
Continue. After that, I'll get back to you.
the basic unit of psychology. I got to know about it after our that conversation. The basic unit of psychology was like it was, you can say, stated, discovered, or written about or defined much later after the evolution of psychology. Like it has been around from 100, 120, 150 years, and this unit of psychology is something of a new concept. And what is this unit? It's every single transaction. I say something to you, that's a transaction. You say something back, that's another transaction.
Another transaction, right?
These are two transactions.
Yeah. Debit and
And
credit.
if we, yeah, if we really have to break down things, it will break down into transactions. A transaction between two people will be the basic thing. Social psychology forms the basis of all these things. Primarily,
All
social
right.
psychology is much more important than people give it credit for. And like mental health stigma is mainly because firstly, I would literally blame our cinema for it,
Cinema.
art, culture, etc., etc.
How is
Yeah,
that
like
responsible?
people, how the mental is responsible.
Yeah, the
Like
mass
it's the
communication.
simplest
I
form of
okay. Yeah.
information that you
Simplest
can
form. Yeah.
perceive. Yeah, it's a medium of mass communication.
Yeah. I
Hitler
understand.
manipulated an entire
It's
generation.
basically transaction going on with a lot of
He
people.
used to make, yeah, but like you are delivering an idea very like simply. When you see it happening in front of you, the idea goes right into it. If you will explain the same movie and when you see the scene, there will be an ease in seeing the scene and understanding the thing rather than listening to the explanation.
Yeah. Obviously.
So the depiction in our art about mentally ill people, and it's not only limited to India, it's also in America, in the Western world. Don't make this mistake of thinking that they are too great with
No,
mental
no,
health
no.
and all.
Obviously not. That's why a lot of
They are
people on the
very like,
in American podcasts are talking about this right now, because the stigma of mental health awareness is also there in America. They're not devoid of this thing, and
not
there's
mental health
obviously.
awareness,
Yeah, continue.
even the treatment and the processes and other things. For example, you can give credit to Batman, Arkham Asylum, depiction representation of mentally ill people and what a mental asylum is.
Yeah,
Sometimes the really grave asylums are like that.
that is much
Uh,
related to psychiatry, not just
someone,
psychology. Like, for example, what I was talking about, like if someone so Aditya, yeah, you're there. Yeah. For example, if
yeah,
you see someone around you, some person who is behaving very normally, not in a very weird manner, he doesn't have any problem in the brain, but in the mind, he has certain ideas, some thoughts, some perspectives, something which is like creating some sort of rupture in the mind. If he goes to a therapist and if he's taking some consultation, some psychological consultation, people see him as there's something wrong, as if there's something wrong with that person. That's wrong, because one of my friend, you probably know about her, you know about her, but I'm not going to take the name on this for, on this podcast. She is experiencing anxiety right now, severe anxiety, and she doesn't even know that what sort of anxiety is this, what is the reason for this anxiety, why is she so anxious about life and everything. So she is taking mental therapy right now, and she is afraid to tell it to anyone. And she obviously she wouldn't be talking about what is the reason for the anxiety and everything, and she wouldn't go in details with anyone. Obviously, this is your problem. You're not going to go to someone, not even your friend, and talk about it. A lot of people don't opt that option. But right now she is taking psychological consultation, and she has not told her relatives or any of her relatives. Mostly, like few family members know about it, and only one or two friends know about this thing, because there's a stigma related to this thing, that if she is normally behaving in front of everyone, then there shouldn't be something wrong with her. And if she is taking psychological consultation, if she is going to a therapist, then there might be something wrong with her. There's some sort of problem, there's some sort of brain damage which is there with her. That's what people think generally, and this is something which has to be like cured in the society.
They don't know the difference between psychiatry and psychology
Yeah,
itself,
that's the
first of all.
basic
And
reason for it.
whenever they hear the word psych,
Psyche.
they directly
Psych.
associate it with, yeah, psych in this spelling. Whenever
Yeah.
they get to see those combination PSY, etc.,
See, yeah, they all automatically associate
they
it with some
directly
sort of
associate it with, yeah, the extreme.
the
We
extreme,
have
right?
a tendency to exaggerate,
Yeah.
and since they don't know, so they tend to exaggerate and form their own ideas from their assumptions, and that's why this stigma arises. So the first thing is that. The second thing is there is not enough awareness being spread. Third and the most important thing is how you're going to spread it, because there is clear lack of research within India about psychology and different aspects of it. Secondly, and the fourth, secondly, within this is the language. I have had this, you can say, sort of problem with like the teaching of psychology in my college, also in like internship or anywhere where they talk about psychology and mental health. I don't know why they use English always. This is
Whoever
a
is
consistent pattern.
whoever is teaching, he's teaching in English, right? That's the problem.
Teaching, spreading awareness, like making reels, even there's
What do I
always
say?
this English language.
I'm also using English as a medium of this podcast, which I'm not supposed to be doing. I don't know whether I'm supposed to be doing
You
it.
have different goal, and you have a different goal and agenda
Yeah. The
here.
basic reason is that I want everybody from this country to
Always
listen to this podcast. Even someone from South India who doesn't
not
know how to speak Hindi, doesn't know
not
how to.
every, yeah,
Yeah,
you are going for a common language,
I'm going for a
but
common language,
I
and
really
also
think that
a lot of people from different countries are there. Some YouTubers from France. There's one YouTuber from France who recently replied me on Instagram when I was asking her that whether it is a good idea for her to come on my podcast once I get 100,000 subscribers or not. So she said, "Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll come and everything." So if I have potential uh, guests in this podcast who are from different country other than India, then I have to keep the language in English. Although I'll definitely, if in
yeah,
future, if I grow and everything, I'll definitely make a separate channel in Hindi. I'll make a separate channel in which the podcast is going to be in Hindi. That's really important. Like for the people who are of the Hindi speaking belt who wants to access intellectual content, but they're not able to do that because of the barrier of the language. It has to be done for them as well. So, and obviously,
so
I'm more
that's
comfortable in
the thing.
speaking
We
in.
have to, hmm,
Yeah,
we have to like really look into what our goal, purpose, target audience, etc.
yeah,
These are the things which we need to really plan for. Planning is not like we are, for example, as you said, your father asked you what your plan for the future is. You can't plan like I will do the podcast, I'll reach a million subscribers, and then I will do this and I will do that. You can't plan like that. That's not a plan.
then what's the
It's a
plan?
wish. Again,
It's a wish. Yeah,
a
right.
plan
So
is
a plan is
a plan is
how are you going to get
yeah,
into
how
the
are you
field? Right?
going to achieve that? The
Yeah,
steps you will
the
take
steps that you
to
have to take.
achieve your dream.
Yeah,
So you will say, I'll improve my communication skills. I'll improve my structuring. I'll improve. I'll like learn more skills like video editing, like
Learn more skills like video editing. The
audio
biggest problem
editing,
right now, the biggest
etc.
problem right now is Photoshop. I don't my lack of awareness of the Photoshop. I don't have any idea how to edit photos and everything. And right now I'm getting a lot of impressions on my channel, but people are not clicking on it because a catchy thumbnail stands out, right? And you're only gonna click on some video if you see a thumbnail which is like appealing to you. Most of the things that you find on the internet are not, most of the videos that you find on the YouTube are not actually having some gravity in it, some real content in it. But even if my channel, the videos that I'm posting out, the episodes that I'm posting out have a real content and people can listen to it, still I don't, if I don't have a catchy thumbnail, it's not going to stand out and people are not going to watch it. That's a problem. That's something that I have to learn.
Yeah,
And
dude,
more
that's
on
true.
the top of that, I have to improve the scope of understanding that I have right now, the horizon of the things that I can think about. I have to consume a lot of information. Like if I'm getting on the podcast, for example, if I invite Ujala tomorrow, I have to learn a lot about the climate change, the recent changes that has been made in the world due to the climate change and everything. If I'm going to be talking about climate change, for example, if I'm talking to you, obviously you're my friend and we talk on a regular basis, so I was not really worried about inviting you because it will be like no normal conversations that we have on a day-to-day basis. But if I'm going to invite some psychologist in the future who knows, no, who I don't know personally, then I have to research a little bit at what are his works in the field of psychology and what are the things that he's working on right now, and what are the fields that he's interested in. Watch some interviews of him, read some articles, watch some documentaries on something that I can discuss on the podcast and things like that. Right? That's a plan.
Yeah, so these things consist within the plan. They are the constituents of the plan.
Yeah. So no, getting back to the topic,
These
like
steps, planning these minute things. So yeah,
how are you going
continue.
to create the awareness for these things?
Yeah, so uh, I guess using different mediums like YouTube and maybe
You were
Instagram.
actually talking about why the
Just
language that is being taught, in which psychology is being taught, is problematic. Right?
so the language is a little problematic because like there should be like the people who are teaching this stuff. I think that they should be able to express the same things in Hindi also.
Yeah, obviously. It's
I
their
have
native
tried
language.
it. Like I have explained in Bhojpuri to a village man what's the difference between psychiatry and psychology is. And how can I know that he was understanding what I was saying?
Because
Because
you
he
were
was
using,
asking questions.
yeah,
He was counter questioning me. That if you are saying this, then why this and then this and that.
I do understand.
So if you tell it to people, they will really understand. But you have to find a common ground to connect, and that common ground is language. If you can't communicate, they won't understand it. Why many students find science so boring?
Yeah, simply because of
Because
the way that
they
is being
don't
taught.
really, yeah, the way that it is being taught. If there is more practicals involved, people will take
Not just
interest.
practicals, man.
How
Like
is this
the
happening?
practicals that are being that the practicals that are happening in the colleges and schools is much like reading. Sorry, like just reading the
I'm
manual.
not
Reading
talking
the
about
manual.
those practicals.
No, that is, yeah. That you have to understand the practical applications of the things that you are learning. That's what's more
I'm
important.
not talking about practical. I'm not talking
Experimentations. You're not
about
talking about
practicals
Yeah,
as a
I
noun
understand. I
which we
understand.
are used to. I'm saying like the verb
The
practical.
verb practicality. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to make these things practical. Like I remember we used to have an amazing teacher when I was in class 6. He taught us for a few months, Sanjay sir, if you remember. And that man really intrigued my interest in physics
I just had one
because
class
he
with him.
never used to make us he never used to make us open our books.
Yeah,
He used to teach
that's what
the
he used to
class
do. I only
11th and
had
12th,
I only had one
but
class with him when I was in class 9th, and the first thing that he said when we entered in the class, just close your book and throw them aside. And after that, he started teaching.
yeah,
After that, he started teaching, and everything. It was like the whole chapter was like flowing in front of my eyes. That's what it used to be
yeah,
like. He was an amazing teacher, man. Like really,
like
I really respect him as a teacher.
he, yeah, like I remember he explained magnetism to us. He literally ordered the assistant to take out all the magnets, and he was showing us like the
Yeah.
poles and all, how the magnet stabilizes in sync with the earth, how the poles are actually different. The magnet's north will go in the direction of the
Basically,
earth's south.
making you visualize those things that he's talking about, right?
Yeah, he was showing us, not teaching us, not telling us about it. He was
Yeah, he's
showing us what it is.
demonstrating the thing in front of you.
Yeah, and that's why still till date I don't know any of those equations or derivations, but I really know the
I
concepts
understand.
which were formed at that young age.
Yeah. So
So
similar things
it's
apply
about
with
the,
psychology as well when you're teaching it.
yeah, like in psychology, it's obvious that you can't really show things. Like Mother Auchi has said, one can't show what is in his heart. You can't show what's in your heart. So psychology can't be shown, but it can be communicated. Sorry, it can be communicated.
Yeah.
If I tell you about it in detail, in the language that you understand, you will definitely understand it.
But I think
So that's
what I
the
think
thing.
personally, most of the students that are there in psychology, they do understand they do understand English, and they can understand everything that is being taught in English. Problem is when you're creating awareness with the people in the society, then you have to talk in Hindi, explaining to them. That's the real challenge, because a lot of people don't know how to speak English. A lot of people don't know about the basic difference between psychiatry and psychology. A lot of people don't know about the mental health issue, the mental health issue that prevails in society. A lot of people don't even know that they are mentally ill at a certain level, even if it is a little like just a little bit of a problem. For example, if you have a flu, then you are sick. Then you are sick, even if you don't have that severe sort of problem that it's not going to hamper your movement and everything, but still you have a certain sickness, right? So if you're having anxiety, or if you're having a little, I don't know, frustration, anger management issues or things like that, then it's a psychological problem, even if you're not able to realize it right now, but still there it is.
Actually, there are three stages, 3 to 4 stages. One is basic, that the trait is there, that trait exists somewhere. Then comes style. It's a person's style to act in a certain manner. Like there is a conscious effort going in, and the conscious effort is very few times. It's like he does this a few times only.
All right.
You getting me? And
No, wait a minute.
then there
Like
comes a
there's
type.
one thing that there's a sort of there's some kind of trait, some sort of illness a little bit, and on the other
No,
hand
not
there's
illness. I'm not talking about illness. Like for example, anger.
oh, for some people,
Okay.
okay, I
So
understand. Like for some people it is
I'm
that,
talking about the traits.
yeah, it is that, okay, fine, I understand.
Like for take for example, narcissism.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's a trait of narcissism which may come across like very like rarely. Then comes style. The person's style is narcissism. When really he really has to make a point, he uses narcissism.
Okay.
Then there comes type.
Okay, now I'm
Type
able to
is
understand it better.
he usually does, yeah. Then he usually does like he uses narcissism as like his basic it's his basic personality trait, etc.
Yeah.
Then comes disorder. So style, then type, when it crosses the type
trait
mark, then it
trait
becomes
style
disorder.
trait style uh, what else?
Type,
Personality, basic personality.
type.
Okay, type, personality type.
Type.
And after that, there comes the illness part.
Not personality type. Like when you study about the classification of intelligences. So these are the 4 stages.
My God.
At the 4th stage,
Now it feels
becomes
like
a
I've invited
disorder.
someone who's really intelligent in my podcast, who knows about what he's who
It's
knows
not
what he's
about
talking about.
it. I recently came to know about this one, so I was really thinking about sharing this.
Okay.
So
Continue.
if you have like narcissistic tendencies, it's not necessarily a disorder. A disorder. It may be your style. If you do it more frequently, it may be your type. But if you do it all the time and you are creating problems for yourself as well for others with this, then it's a disorder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm
And
able to understand it. Right.
how does counseling, clinical psychology, and psychiatry fit into this? If it's a style or a type, it can be dealt with counseling.
All right.
A type and disorder, it can be dealt with clinical. When the disorder reaches its extreme,
Yeah.
then
Psychiatry has to
and
budge in, right?
involved in this.
Yeah. So this is so see these are the classifications and everything. So this is so much complex. Like even talking to people and explaining them about how psychology, psychiatry, and everything works. It's so complex that if even I'm not able to understand it, because even after I've been talking about like these things to you for a long time, still I'm not able to understand it properly. And what about the people who
If
never even
you
thought
have
about
to
it?
understand it,
No, I understood what you're talking about. I
that's the
understand.
issue.
I was able to understand. I was not able to understand it in the beginning when you were talking. Like when you started giving examples and everything, then I was able to understand it, right? But what about the people who never even thought about it? The awareness has to be done for them,
Like
right? The awareness has
it's
to be spread for them. So if those are the people,
awareness has to
who are
come
target.
for society.
Yeah,
The awareness has to come for
those are the
society.
people who
Like
form the society, right?
everybody should have. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the people who form the society. Like every student is a part of society, but all the members of the society are not students. So even if you start teaching and educating the students about it, who will educate the parents? The student knows, but the parent doesn't. The student may feel that he is having some problems, and the parents would say, "ठीक ही तो है, he's all right." So
Yeah.
these type of like in in these things in certain ways, I guess people need to talk about it more. The second thing is like we have to go like we need to have more number of psychologists. First of all, like the number of practicing psychologists should increase, and then should increase the pro bono work. Because
What?
psychology and
Sorry.
mental pro bono. Pro bono work means which you do for free or for very little cost, then you usually charge for your services.
Okay.
So if a lawyer does pro bono work, that means he's taking up cases for the people who are very poor, but they need to find justice and all.
Yeah.
So that will be like you use your professional skills for a social cause in a social cause manner.
Okay.
So
No,
like if I'll be a therapist.
But what's the, for example, you have to create a certain business model, man, because money is really important at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So you have to create a business model where
That's the point I was coming on.
Yeah, where you are working for the society, for the betterment of the society, or doing a pro bono work, you're charging very little for your service, but you have to generate profit in some way or the other. Otherwise, it is going to be really difficult to continue working in that field, right? And on the top of that, there are two things
I think the government.
Yeah, continue.
Go on.
Oh no, there are two things that I was talking. Like I think the mental health awareness should be in there about, like, not just the mental health awareness. The one thing is about mental health awareness, like where you where you create awareness about the mental illness and stuff, right? The things that we were talking about recently. But there's something which is awareness in itself about the society, about the jobs and everything. In the previous episode, when I was talking to Priyanshu, and there was this clip of the whole episode that I posted on the on the other channel. Why do people go for mainstream jobs? And in that uh, video, I was talking to him and I was telling that why do parents want their kids to go in mainstream jobs? For example, getting into medical field, engineering or law, things like that, and specifically government job. Why do parents want? And that's the main reason is stability. People want their kids to live a stable and comfortable life. They want their kids to have certain job security and things like that, and that is specifically happening in middle class families. That's what Priyanshu added to it, because the people who are in higher class, they're not worried about money. They're worried about their kids to do something that they want, their kids wants to do. But in case of middle class family, they want their kids to catch on to their careers as soon as possible and earn a lot of money and live a comfortable life, right? So this is so when we are talking about psychology, the people how people are not accepting psychology as a mainstream work, and the people who are getting into psychology as studying something which is mainstream, it's problematic at certain level, because you have a lot of people in your class and in your batch whose parents don't think that it's a mainstream thing, and they shouldn't be doing going into that field, right? We have to create awareness about these things as well. This is a part of social awareness that should be created as well, I think.
There are a few things. Firstly, I would say what are the like really weak points about being a therapist and psychology and mental health and stuff.
Okay.
It's time taking.
Yeah.
It's really a time taking process. Like if some, for example, if there was a childhood trauma of some kind, take for like sexual abuse. Someone was sexually abused as a child.
Okay.
That through childhood, through adolescence, she or he may have suppressed it.
Yeah.
In adulthood, it happens again. That event triggers the memories of
The past trauma and everything.
event,
Yeah.
the childhood event.
Yeah.
And as we go into the world by ourselves, we become more vulnerable. Like the cover of the parents we used to have, it's no more. So we are going into the world on our own. And when we do things on our own, there is a sense of responsibility. There's a sense of self-dependence. And if you are not confident, that sense will turn into fear, into doubt that I am not I'm not sufficient, etc. And these chain of thoughts, the chain of negative thoughts, are fueled by such events. If such events happen with you, if you are again sexually abused in the adulthood, the the effect it will have on you will be exponential considered to what you experienced as a child.
Yeah.
It will grow exponentially
Yeah. Yeah.
with time.
Okay. I get your point.
So yeah, that the fear of being alone, being on your own, the feeling of being on your own, and then carrying this weight with yourself, this starts weighing on you exponentially. The feeling goes like this, not gradually.
Okay. Yeah.
The first thing is that. So, in treating these things to overcome this, actually, you can't treat, but you can overcome, you can make peace with it because you can't change the past. So, for making peace with it, you need to understand that this is this is a product of a thing which started many years ago, and it has festered and festered and festered. For example, cancer. The
Yeah.
early stages of cancer are longer. The transition from
I
stage
do
one to
understand. I
two
do
is
understand your point, but how are you getting this on the point of social
So
awareness about
this
jobs.
this
First of
takes
all,
time. Yeah. So this takes time.
all right.
Basic point.
Okay.
Firstly, then investing so much time. Like if I'm a therapist, obviously I have if I work 8 hours a day,
All right.
so I need to give at least 45 minutes to 1 hour for every client session. Otherwise, it doesn't amount to anything. Like half an hour goes into like making the person comfortable, etc.
Yeah.
You won't
Even
have
the practice
anything
takes
substantial to talk about.
even the practice takes up a lot of time, because there are people, there are
Yeah,
different kind of people.
in
Some people are there who opens up
yeah,
really well and really easily, but there are some people that are going to take more time to open up and talk about the things that they're worried about, right? Things
the
that they say.
people the people who are coming to take therapy,
Yeah.
especially most of the people are like they don't really open up so soon. They're all see they're already in a dark spot. They are already on a tough spot. It's not so easy to trust for them. So the trust takes time to build. So the process takes time itself. First thing is that. But we as therapists, we have to make money too. We have to survive in this world too.
Conclude it
So
fast,
we
man,
need
because
money.
we are out of time, almost
Yeah.
almost out
Okay.
of time.
So we need money.
Yeah.
So that's why therapy is so expensive. Like usually the lowest amount that you can find on the internet in Noida is at least 800 per hour per session.
My God.
Yeah, and try imagine doing it for like people go to therapy for 1 year, 2 year. Like I there was a person in the internship. She had been going to therapy for 7 years now.
My God.
7 years.
Yeah, some therapy
So
actually takes up
this
a lot of
thing.
time. Yeah, I do understand.
So yeah, not some therapy, most of them a lot of time
Okay. Yeah.
because again constructing something takes
Takes
time.
up a lot of time, and
Destruction
destruction takes
happens
up,
within second.
well, happens within a moment, right?
Ah, so what is the possible solution for a really like aggressive aware if you have to like achieve fast results in this field? Government should intervene. Government, celebrities, stars, everybody who has a public approach, they should actively promote and spread awareness regarding this. Not only the like it's the same with environment also. All the environmentalists, they keep like protesting, they keep raising their voices, but nobody really cares because it's a slow thing. You are not experiencing the damage today itself. It's taking time, and that's why people don't take it so seriously. Same is with mental health. You are being bullied, you are like in a tough spot, you don't have good relationship with your parents. Your parents may be someone's father may be coming home and just slapping their kid
Yeah.
or venting out their frustration on them, and they must be thinking when he will grow up he will understand and etc. He
Yeah.
will cope up, whatever maybe if they are thinking, but the damage remains.
That usually is not the case. Like the damage
And
always remains.
so this become yeah this becomes like expensive and time taking. So the only option viable option is that government should intervene here, spread awareness, and then sponsor these things also.
It all comes
They
down to
have to
government at a
sponsor
certain
like
point.
they yeah, but because for doing it on a big scale you need to have some backing, you need to have some resources, and the resources and backing that the machinery that the government has, that comes nowhere close to any organization in the world. You take the most powerful ones,
I
Google,
know. I know. I understand. I
and
know. They've got the
yeah,
most
Google,
resources out
Amazon,
of
whatever.
everyone. They've got the most
Yeah, but
resources out
they
of everyone, and they should
in
intervene in this thing if they want to create a change.
no. I'm saying I'm s- yeah, I'm saying that these private entities, these companies too don't come as near as governments in terms of resources.
Yeah, obviously they must have a
That's
lot of
my point.
money, but
So
not the amount of resources that that government have.
yeah,
The amount of manpower, the amount of
so
resources, and
if
everything.
hmm,
Yeah,
yeah, so what government should really do is promote psychology, mental health, etc. Like it promotes medicine,
yeah,
MBBS, and hospitals, etc. All the things,
yeah.
and it should pay salaries and all to the psychologists in a proper manner according to what they may earn while practicing in a big city like Delhi or Noida in the NCR. Here, the
Uh,
person may earn 1,000 or 1,500 or 1,800 or 2,000 per hour. For 8 hours, it may go from 8,000 to 16,000. Get my
okay,
point?
now I get your
So
point.
16,000.
So it's a
So
big,
so 10
it's basically a
even
big process. If you want to change the whole scenario, it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and on the top of that,
yeah,
support from government as well as,
resources.
yeah. Man, this is a tiresome process if you
For
look at it.
example, uh, yeah, for example, this electric vehicle thing.
Yeah,
India has made its target to replace all the petrol and diesel vehicles till 2030.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I
so
know about it.
in that process, is there all profit and no loss? No, there is so much loss. The vehicles who may be running for more time, they will be discarded sooner,
Yeah,
and they'll have to change the whole infrastructure. All those places where you have petrol pumps, you will need charging points.
charging points. Yeah,
Yeah, so it will be a big investment. It will be a loss-making one, but we'll have to do it anyway because this will
it's
protect the
something
earth.
that it's something that will contribute in the
The
betterment of the planet,
cost,
I think.
not betterment. It's about saving the planets. Leave betterment. Survive first.
I know,
So
I understand. Like recently, even there were a lot of
better.
there were a lot of wildfires in Ethiopia. No, sorry. Why don't I remember the name of the place? It's Palestine, I
It's
think.
everywhere.
No. There were a lot of wildfires
It's
recently. I don't remember the
everywhere
name of the
these
country.
days.
I recently read it on New York Times, and the president made a comment that it's not climate change anymore. It's a climate crisis that we're facing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it can't be done alone. The whole world has to come up together because the same thing applies. Maybe India or all the Europe and all America and all will they will be all we are all green and we have very
It's
reduced
not
carbon
gonna change. It's not
footprint
gonna
and all.
change. It's not gonna change.
But
Even if you try
but
to level best, the things are gonna, like, every small detail of your life, every small,
see,
yeah, yeah. Continue. Say what you want
my
to say.
point is they if there are 200 countries, if 180 are making change to their way of life and they are like helping to making their best efforts to reduce the environmental damage, but the remaining 20 countries are doing all the damage they can, that won't work. Ultimately those 20 countries will do the damage
That wouldn't be the case, bro.
anyhow.
Listen to me. That wouldn't be the case. Even if all these countries, 180 countries that you're talking about, maybe they're making all the efforts to change their lifestyle and save the planet. But the problem is that the governments cannot do alone anything. There has to be a mass public support if they want to change, if they really want to create a change, because people are ignorant about the climate change. The
Public
thing is
support,
that, yeah, no,
see,
people are actually ignorant. Even if you
public
want to,
support will come. Let's see. They are called leaders for a reason. Understand that.
Yeah.
They are called leaders for a reason. Take the biggest example. Before 2014 and right now, what's the difference between the like political uh, like points which elections are fought on these days?
This has entirely changed. The whole demography is changed.
In inflation, inflation is not an issue anymore. Job employment is not an issue anymore. Hmm?
Identity is the main
These
issue at
things
this
which,
point.
yeah. So, and who made the change? Who brought upon the change? These leaders. They said to the public that this is the issue. And the public believed them. That they will start saying that yeah, environment is an issue. And they will say that aggressively as they deliver this particular viewpoint.
No, actually, there has to be certain mechanism that has to run. It really requires a lot of intention if you want to change this whole scenario. Because the political change that you're talking about, the political change in the political, socio-political scenario of the country, it took a lot of intention, intense intention to change the idea, the masses of the minds of the masses of the people. And if you want to
Yeah.
do that same kind of thing
So
with in the case of climate change, you have to fucking do it like on a war level. Otherwise, it's not gonna change anything. It ain't
no,
gonna do
see,
shit.
it's not like that. Really, believe me on this. If governments, all the netas and all the leaders, they will start like they will be really talking fearfully that the environment really needs to be protected, then people will also feel that yeah, something is wrong,
All right.
and they will also start like why they, why they have so much confidence and all these things, like the things that are happening right now. Day before yesterday, there was a news from Kanpur. A man was like paraded along the streets and thrashed, and her like her little daughter, she was clinging to her father, and she was like screaming to leave her father.
Well,
He
these
was a
things are not
Muslim man,
done by the
and he
government.
was thrashed.
This is something which
No,
the
no,
vigilantes are doing
it's
at
not
this
done
point.
by the government. It's not done by the government. But where do these vigilantes gain their confidence from? They see that what they are doing somewhere falls in line or in parallel to the ideology and the functioning of the government. And that makes up the confidence that yeah, we can do this and nothing will happen to us.
Yeah,
Or the things will not happen to us as severely as others,
yeah, I
as
understand.
the things happen to others.
Yeah,
So
that's an
the
issue.
same logic, yeah, the same logic will go for this also. If the government will come out and say that
That's what
yes,
I was talking about. That's what I
mental
was talking
health,
about. It needs
mental
intention.
health,
If you want to change the scenario in case of mental health, in case of climate
yeah,
change or any other thing, it needs severe intention. The intention, the similar kind of intention that you have for changing the socio-political scenario of the country, socio-political, I don't know, like whatever the scenario
like
basically,
the government really
framework of the
needs to
country.
acknowledge that there is a problem. Yeah, they need to acknowledge that there is a problem.
Yeah,
The first step to solving any problem is to acknowledge that there is a problem.
there is a problem. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
this sort of problem were acknowledged very aggressively through all the 6 and 7 years they have been here.
well, they
So
started the
in the same way,
Ganga
the
cleaning
problem,
project and everything, but they, I don't know, there's no significant change in that field as well, in that project as well. I don't know who's working in that field, in that
thing has
project right
been
now.
done. Yeah, same thing. I also don't know what's going on with it. There is no news about it.
People
What I
almost
know
forgot
is
about
that
people actually
most of Banaras is flooded.
people almost forgot about it. You know why? Because this is
Uh,
something with that were not even considering this thing to be one of the major things that BJP government wants to do in the beginning. For me, it was a big thing because Ganga cleaning projects has everything to do with the cleaning of the, like, giving some contribution in the ecosystem to run efficiently, right? and it was really important for me. But I don't have any news about it at this point. I don't know where the project has
Yeah,
reached at this
that's my
point. What
point.
are
That
the
the
what are, yeah, what are the things
like
that
these
they're
things are
able to
connected.
accomplish?
The leader leads, and they have to lead in this manner. They have to lead by like setting an example that yes, I am worried and you should be too, and then the people will feel that yes, if our leader is worried, we should also worry, and we should try to make a change. These things should not be confined to little speeches, like the speeches which go very slowly and smoothly, and they are very like uh, what you can say, they
Romanticized.
are very not romantic, मतलब कानों को अच्छा लगे.
uh,
They are good to hear. They
Pleasing
are
for
good
the
to listen
ear,
to.
pleasing for the ear.
Yeah, these stuff when they are talked about, they like people should really stop like being speaking these things in this ear pleasing manner.
Yeah.
These things should be said in the manner that
Of an
will
alarm.
pierce the ear. Yeah,
So, man, it was nice talking to
these
you
are the
because we are
things.
almost out of time, so I cannot just carry this conversation any forward. But it was really an amazing episode, and we
Okay.
thrived through it. Like even when we had a lot of problem in the beginning and everything, even though we fought for it. And thanks to you, you were the one who fought for it because I almost lost every hope of this happening. Wi-Fi stopped working, the AC is not working, and my mom was budging and everything. I thought that today we were not going to be able to record, but we did.
uh, I'll end with Shah Rukh Khan's golden lines that stop yourself taking yourself so seriously every time. The more you take yourself seriously, the more you will
Whose
be
line it
like,
is again? Whose line it is again?
I heard from Shah Rukh Khan
Oh, stop taking
in
yourself
AIB
so seriously.
podcast.
Okay, okay, okay.
He says that I don't take myself so seriously. That's why I can make joke on myself. And when I can make joke on myself, I am really confident. I'm really comfortable with my own existence. People who get offended, again, a major point. People who get offended, they get offended because they are not confident and comfortable with themselves, with their ideologies. They think that a joke, a bloody joke, can like disrupt their faith, or like that joke can it can damage their faith, etc. So they are not confident in themselves.
Well,
These things need to be talked about, and
we will have. This is not the last of us. Obviously, we're gonna have a lot more episodes coming up.
obviously
Well, okay. See you in the next episode. Bye.
maybe on the next call.
Maybe on the next. Bye.